Brandhouse, South Africa's leading total beverage company, created the Responsible Drinking Media Awards, which is a bid to celebrate journalists, both established and otherwise, on their contribution towards raising awareness about responsible drinking.
Had an excess of about 200 entries, so the numbers are big, but we can always welcome more. I think media can always do more, and we really do encourage other members of the media to look at responsible drinking and drunk driving and the impact of alcohol abuse as topics for discussion.
We've decided to have these Responsible Drinking Media Awards 5 years ago, primarily because we wanted to obviously bring in journalists into reporting about responsible drinking in South Africa, because we believe very strongly that in order for South Africans to understand the messages, particularly around irresponsible drinking, we needed to be able to have the involvement of journalists who are going to report on the matter very exclusively, so that we can really be able to educate and inform our population about irresponsible drinking and the effect that it has on our society.
Our article basically was from a casual conversation of how as girls sometimes we go out and we have a drink and you think it's harmless, and how does it go from being one drink to being full-blown alcoholism? How much is too much,
My story, my article was about women who drink during pregnancy, but also a woman who gave her young children alcohol because she was alcoholic and she didn't want to drink alone. And I followed her story on how she's managed to change now, but all the challenges of changing it and all the medical implications for her children and for her unborn baby.
Journalists would obviously be nominated, and we invite the members of public to nominate stories that they've seen in newspapers, on social media, or they've heard on radio, or they've seen on television. And after a journalist has accepted the nomination, then that particular piece then goes into the judging panel, which is an independent panel of experts who are in different sectors of our economy, so that they can then be able to evaluate which are the best pieces that have been produced by journalists across all different forms of platforms.
We got several announcements from various companies saying that they were providing Take Me Home services for free for their customers. But I really wanted to get down to the bottom of what exactly these Take Me Home services offered. And for us, it wasn't enough to just find out that they existed, but we wanted to know the financial costs, what actually happened after these Take Me Home services, all the free rides once they were over, and what people had to then pay afterwards. And we really just wanted to drive the message home to our readers that these services were available to them for free if they belonged to certain reward schemes with banks and insurance companies.
The article, the segment that we did on the show, it was around blood alcohol limit. We had a couple of experts on the show, and then we invited our listeners, mostly young listeners, to phone in and say what they think the alcohol limit is, and you'd be very shocked to see that none of them actually know what it is. And then we went on, and our stance on the show is we very much want to promote the alcohol limit for drinking and driving to be reduced to zero.
The role that media play is so important, and just to be able to reward them for that is really a big thing. So we always open for more entries.
Stories, especially human interest stories about alcohol abuse, aren't always front page stories in the newspaper industry anyway. And it's wonderful that that kind of reporting, that actually is a very time consuming and a very skillful kind of reporting, does get recognized, that the only type of recognition is not just to have it on the front page.
Congratulations to tonight's winners, and we hope that their work continues to uplift and contribute to making us a better society. I'm Riley Sakani Posakwe for Joburg Today.